they say all men are created equal.
Shot! Master!
I pull out the Glock. Full of suffering, succotash, son.
It's one of your nuts hanging out of your shorts.
Real glass!
You have a father, but your father's dead.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Too Sweet podcast with Lucy and Estelle. I'm so excited to be back. It's been 2 weeks. Apologies for the lack of review last week. Just life was got in the way for both of us. But we're back this week with another Dynamite review. And yeah, I mean, quickly before we get into that, I did a little exciting thing this weekend. I was at Rev Pro, a little company in the UK where Mercedes Moné is the champion. So it was a brilliant show. Definitely recommend going and watching it on demand if you want. And if you're interested, I did do some interviews with some of the talent and also some of the fans outside, and it was a lot of fun. So you can see that content on their YouTube channel, and also they've got a little Instagram account. It's called Rev Promos. If you're interested at all in seeing any of that content. But yeah, that was part of the reason why last week was so stressful for myself. So I'm glad that things are more peaceful now, and we're back to usual reviewing Dynamite. So Estelle, I mean, how are you feeling after we're coming back into reviewing Dynamite?
Yeah, pretty good. And I just wanted to echo about the Rev Pro. Lucy did a really great job, so you should definitely go check it out, subscribe to the channel. And yeah, I believe there's like a talk show in the works, right?
Yeah, that's kind of the idea. The concept is a talking smack type of thing. So we were kind of piloting that at Summer Sizzler, which was the show that we did last weekend. So yeah, we did I think there's 3 interviews that I did that I think 2 of them are up currently, and like part of the 3rd one with Kanji is up. So yeah, we're just dipping our toes and seeing how it goes. But if you know, just that experience on its own as a standalone thing was a lot of fun, and I'm really grateful for that. So yeah, like I say, do check out the content and the show if you get the chance, because it was brilliant. Main evented by Mercedes Moné versus Sapphire Reed, and it was a banger.
Yeah. So our girl, she's out there in the world making big moves, and wanted to share the big news as well that our Lucy is also on the road. She's wheeling and dealing.
Vroom, vroom,
She's a
everyone.
driving girlie. She's had a big week.
Yeah, everyone watch out. Yeah, so there's no stopping me now. I can't not get to any
World
wrestling
is your
shows
oyster.
now. Yeah. Northern Rail. Come fuck off.
But yeah, we did have a break, which was a bit unfortunate, but both busy personal lives and also just sometimes some much needed rest to stop burnout, because you know that's never good. Never want
That's
to
the last thing we want.
force yourself into doing it.
Especially because we enjoy it so much, don't we? It's like the last thing you want is it to end up being something that feels like hard work. And I think when we get to the point where we're like, whoa, we've got a really busy week and we're feeling a bit burnt out and a bit tired, it's just like, okay, we don't want to end up resenting wrestling at all for it to like feel like work, because it, you know, it's just fun.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with like I've seen like a lot of YouTube podcast type British wrestling channels that like I've followed various ones throughout the years, but then I've always ended up getting turned off eventually because it becomes like a job to them, and you can't really blame them, because if that's like how you make a living, that's how you put a roof over your head, then obviously there's going to be a certain degree of resentment. But I think we're both lucky in that, like in the podcast aspect, like it is just a hobby. It's just us in our bedrooms, just 2 girlies having a yap, having a chat, having people come on every week in the comments and relaying their thoughts. Lovely community. And then for you with the commentary side of thing, it's not your bread and butter. You're there because you genuinely enjoy it and because you're passionate about it. And there's something to be said about the grassroots of things. Like, yeah, things might grow. This channel might grow. Lucy's career in wrestling, I think, will definitely continue to grow and prosper. But I think, as I said, the gratitude of pro wrestling to be said about just enjoying the now.
Yeah.
that it's a choice, and we're choosing to be here and do this.
Absolutely, yeah, and just being there along for the ride and just doing it for the love of the game or whatever it is that they call it in fucking wrestling. But you know what? Sorry, this is a massive tangent for no reason. But people always ask me like when I talk about people who they're not wrestling fans, and I mention the fact that I that's what I do in my spare time. I go to wrestling shows, I do commentary, and they're like, "Oh, do the wrestlers get paid? Do you get paid?" And it's just like, number one, that's the most interesting question you can think of. What a boring question. Second of all, like, yes, they get paid, but like not a lot. Not many people are in independent wrestling for the money because you just leave it straight away. They're in it because they love it. So yeah, exactly. Just to your point, just reiterating your point.
And not to continue the tangent, but do you think there's something to be said about being in indie Brit wrestling because you're surrounded by impassioned individuals? Do you think it helps keep your love for wrestling alive, seeing that?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%. I mean, these are people who, like myself, we've got full-time jobs, but they go out of the way at a weekend to come and wrestle. They beat up their bodies for very little pay, but they do it because they absolutely love it. And some of them are chasing a dream. They want to go full-time. Some of them aren't even doing that. They've kind of accepted that they're past that point in their career where that's a possibility, but they still want to do it in these small venues for these small companies just because it brings them happiness and it gives them a sense, I guess a sense of purpose. I certainly feel like it gives me a sense of purpose. So I think that for me, like that, yeah, it warms up my heart a little bit. And especially, when there's, you see fans really enjoying the show, especially kids, like having the time of their life, that for me is the best part of wrestling. Like the live atmosphere and things is my personal favorite part, and like seeing storylines come and pay off. It's just a lovely feeling, and with big companies, like televised companies, I think you can sort of fall out of love with it, or the product's not going the way I like, or I'm just don't have the time to watch it, for example. But I think it's quite easy to get disillusioned by that. So then, yeah, when you come back to like the grassroots of it, and these small companies where there's not a lot of money involved, there's not a lot of egos involved, it's just people, just a community of people having fun. It makes it all the more enjoyable, I think, in a roundabout way. Yes, to answer your question, yes.
Hell yeah. So I think with all that done, all the housekeeping done for this week, we'll dive into Dynamite if that's cool.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
So the show began to me in a bit of a jarring way was the
Yeah.
quarterfinal tournament, which was already like a bit weird. It wasn't a big money match and it wasn't a big intense 15-minute promo with brawls and all the drama and stuff. It was very humble. It was a humble quarter-final tournament with the Outrunners versus the local enhancement talent of the Young Bucks, and something about this felt
Hilarious, man.
very house show-esque to me. I don't know why, but I just got house show vibes watching,
I felt
especially the
like,
start.
yeah, I agree with you. And I felt like there was something a little strange about that atmosphere about this whole show. I feel like it was the
I
same
agree.
venue as the past 2 weeks. For some reason, it felt smaller and quieter and really echoey. I'm not sure if maybe that was a problem with my speakers or something, but like I just got really odd vibes throughout. But yeah, I agree. It was quite a jarring start.
Yeah, I mean the crowd were really good. I couldn't complain about the crowd. Like they were loud, and especially in the Hangman MOX match, they were engaged, which I didn't know necessarily if they would be or if it would be met with apathy. Because personally, when I first saw that match graphic, I thought apathy, but we'll get into that when we get into the match itself, because the match itself was actually pretty good. But it kind of, because the crowd was small and lively, and yet even though it's been the same for the past 3 fucking weeks, it felt very more indie than normal, more,
Yeah.
yeah, more. And then pairing it with this kind of match, which for the opening match, AEW has had a tendency for the past year or so to always open with big money match that kind of sets the crowd on fire. And I'm not saying the crowd wasn't into this, but yeah, it was just a break from routine, a bit uncanny
Yeah.
vibes.
Yeah, that's exactly. That's so weird that you said that because for some reason this thought went through my head and I can't explain it, but I thought this feels AI generated.
This was AI generated. That is brilliant.
I don't
That is
know, but
hilarious.
as soon as I thought it, I was like, I better not say that on the podcast because that makes no sense, and I don't even know what I mean by that. But I've just
It
said it
does.
because
It
it's
felt
kind of
surreal. It
yeah,
felt
like
really surreal, like a
yeah,
fever dream.
didn't it? I'm so glad it wasn't just me who thought that because when you said uncanny, I was just like, yeah, that's exactly what I mean.
Um, yeah, I thought it was good, but pretty run of the mill. But it had a fun finish. It kind of picked up the pace a bit. The ref didn't see the low blow of Matt to, I believe, Magnum, um, but he stumbled back over Magnum, and he was then rolled up. He kicked out. There was a friendly fire from Nick to Matt, and the Outrunners locked in the total recall for a 2 count. So this is when things sort of started to pick up with the drama. But it was the TK driver for the win with Turbo taking the pin. So yeah, I just feel like the first half of the match, like it wasn't the Outrunners. I'm not saying it was bad, but it wasn't like the Outrunners and the Bucks going at like full speed, like what they're capable of. But the ending was pretty entertaining. I guess it is only like quarter-final tournament. You don't want to pull all of the toys out of the box.
Hmm.
I saw a lot of positive reactions for the Outrunners. People pretty high on them. I don't know. I'm kind of feeling a bit. I mean, it's ironic to say this given the finish to the freaking show, but I'm feeling they're kind of like the tag team equivalent of what Matt Briscoe was for a few months of just like continuous losing. Yes, they're likable. Yes, they're rootable, but to me, they're losing that like believability that Matt Briscoe kind of lost when he was on his 10-month bloody losing streak or
hmm
whatever it was.
hmm Yeah, I really am not connecting with them, and I understand why people like them because they are charismatic and they are funny. But it's not. It's just not really for me. It's just not landing with me. To be fair though, like for what this match was, I thought it was pretty good. Like I think both teams showed that like they've got good synchronicity. Like they can work together. They were. I like quite like the way the Bucks are using this to kind of rejuvenate themselves in the ring. It's almost like they have to prove themselves. I think that's working quite well. I think that the Outrunners were a good opponent for that. I think they played the desperate heels really well. And there was like a lot of near falls and stuff, but yeah, I agree with you. It just wasn't. It wasn't bad, but just didn't set the ball rolling for very exciting dynamite. I didn't think, and I just kind of think are we leading to FTR versus Bucks in the final of the tag tournament? Because if so, big yawn.
You think Big Yawn? I'm
Yeah, I
bored
mean,
of that.
oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know, but
No,
like,
it's fair
just
enough if that's your opinion.
I feel
I didn't
like
really
that's
thought about
it.
it. Like I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know whether I'd be I don't think I'd be like, "Oh my God, this is like I'm so excited for this match," but I don't know whether I'd feel bored. I hadn't really deeped it.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I don't think. I just feel like we've seen FTR versus the Bucks many times. I'm just like, is this the best we can do with this tournament? Because it might be, and I just um don't really care.
It feels like they're definitely measuring FTR up with last week their involvement with the Hurt Syndicate and Cope. It really seems like that's the obvious road they're taking um,
hmm
it down. But yeah, I don't know whether it will be the Bucks. I just, yeah. But I am enjoying their act. It's pretty similar to Christian Cage in that it's kind of a begrudging redemption. Neither one of them are kind of at that point of full self-awareness yet. It was quite fun at the start of the match, their intro match. Uh, I don't know what you call it, their intro sort of sub name, like where they're from
Graphic.
and that. I didn't. yeah, the graphic. Thank you. The graphic. It didn't have like the details. It was just like generic talent and stuff.
Funny.
There's so much that they can do with this gimmick, and it's just fun to see him rejuvenated, not just like in the ring and in kayfabe like chasing it, but it seems like they're having a lot of fun with
Yeah,
this new gimmick and seeing where they can take it. So that's fun.
yeah, yeah, 100%. I think they just needed something fresh. I know that the books work really well when when they're excited about something and they've got a new idea and they can run with it. I think that's where they really thrive. So yeah, I think it's got the potential to be quite entertaining. It already is entertaining, and I think yeah, I'm excited to see
I'd
what they do
love
with it.
I'd love for this as like a massive Young Bucks fan to be like a long term, slow burn sort of redemption in the crowd's eyes where eventually, kind of like Ricochet, even though he's still heel, where people are kind of won over by them just naturally being good at what they're doing.
Mhm.
And I feel like a lot of people are feeling quite good about this act and they're having fun with it. So I hope that that continues and they get their flowers because yeah, obviously for some reason that's kind of leaked over into real life and people actually think that the characters they play on screen are how they are in real life. So
Mhm.
it would just be nice to not be controversial to say that the Young Bucks are the greatest tag team of all time, because they are. Um, but yeah, post match we had Okada come out and the trio beat on the Outrunners. Swerve came out and this made me laugh because it's like you said 2 weeks ago. I think about wrestling logic of when Cope ran out to save Christian and he kind of ran down and did his and then
He's
this time
dancing.
Prince Nana had to come out. He had his coffee. He did the intro dance and then Swerve came out walking as slow as possible with his aura. Meanwhile, the fucking outrunners are getting like the shit beat out of him. It was hilarious.
Well, Swerve's got to build up his aura points first. He's got to just soak it all in. The Outrunners can't fucking wait for Prince Nana to do his little dance, okay?
Um, and this was funny as well because then the outrunners were going over Okada baby because they were like beating on Okada. It's like what the hell is going on?
Yeah,
Swerve
that was
Stomp.
bizarre. I feel like commentary moved past that way too quick. Like,
Yeah, it was just again AI generated. Like, what is going on? Why is Okada getting beat up by um the Outrunners? I don't care about the numbers game. It's just wrong. It shouldn't exist. We had the swerve stomp catching all three uh off the top rope. Um and yeah, that concluded the opening match.
yeah, yeah, just a lot of people. Um, Swerve and Arcada should be really exciting, but I didn't. I feel like that was sort of afterthought in this segment.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. It was a lot of filler, not a lot of killer.
Exactly.
Yeah, a lot of people in the mix, and it did water down Swerve and Okada, which is a shame, but it's just one segment. It's not really the end of the world. Then we had Matt Briscoe with Renee, asked about MJF's continuous shots on him, which he laid in on him last week as well. Ricochet interrupts with the Gates of Agony, but Briscoe has fighting words for both Ricochet, who will be his opponent in the main event, and MJF. So this was kind of like the thread throughout the night, sort of Mark Briscoe out for vengeance.
hmm Yeah, and he's intense as ever and very believable, I thought. I
Yeah,
like this serious Mark Briscoe.
yeah. Then we had MJF. Yeah, he's back up after Lashley's thumbs down last week, where he was sort of pinned against the wall. He kind of got too big for his boots and asked for too much, and it was very awkward. So I just want to break that down initially because I found watching that segment back very shocking. Like I wasn't ready for it. I don't know because it's tough in it because you don't want it to be predictable. Like oh well, soon it's gonna fall apart. You know, you want it to kind of catch people by surprise, but
True.
I do feel like it had more left in the tank. I mean, potentially they'll still make amends. I don't know. He was kicked out though, to be fair, but I don't know. I feel like it could be potentially salvaged, but yeah, and I'm kind of just gutted as well because obviously we're going to Forbidden Dawn. I was really looking forward to seeing MJF and the Hurt Syndicate together, so maybe
Yeah.
it's a bit of that selfishness
Mhm.
as well. But it just seems quite. I don't know if it is fast, but it just seems quite fast ripping them apart. I don't see the
I
point.
I agree. I think it seems fast to me. I'm just a bit confused by it all because it's been set off by MJF being like, "Oh, why did you help Cope?" Or "Fuck you for inviting Cope into the Hurt Syndicate without asking me." Blah blah blah. But then that's not really had any fallout because Cope wasn't even on this episode. And then, oh, yeah, it just felt quite sudden that Lashley was like, "Fuck you, MJF. I'm so angry with you that I'm going to pin you against the wall and kick you out." And then, yeah, this week, Shelton Benjamin was like, "Your watch is a fake version. It's from Team U, and I'd known this the whole time. And we need to."
It's so stupid.
That's so dumb. And he's like, "Oh yeah, you need to get out of here before you end up in a pool of your own piss." And you're just like, "Whoa, whoa, this escalated like really quickly. What the hell?" I agree. I think it's been really quick. I don't know how long it's been exactly, how many weeks or months that they've been together as, Max as part of the team, but it doesn't feel like it's been very long. I don't feel like this has had a lot of chance to breathe. So I'm wondering if we're being swerved right now and it's going to go some other direction that we're not expecting because it just seems a bit strange at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. Um, and I think as well, it feels like it's so long, and you feel weirded out by it because it felt like it's a slow burn from the start because it took so long to get him in.
Oh my
That
God,
what
yeah.
is the point of like him only being in for like over a month or whatever? Because I swear it hasn't been that long, and the act is working. The charisma is so good, but yeah, maybe it is a swerve. Maybe they're gonna come back stronger than ever. Maybe that's gonna make. Maybe it's gonna be like I'd hope a point in Max's career where he learns to forgive because he didn't get to have that with Adam Cole. He didn't get to forgive him after his betrayal. So maybe if he can make it with the Hurt Syndicate, it's like he's moving forward as a character. But
Mhm.
I don't know at the same time because then he's going after Hangman, and to do that, he'd have to be quite heel. It wouldn't make sense for him to be
Yeah,
sympathetic and soft.
yeah,
So I don't know if that's the thing. They're just like, oh, the Hurt Syndicate needs to focus on the tag titles. Max needs to go focus on the world title. It's too much palaver. It's too much crossover. It's
maybe,
stressing me out. Just pull them apart. I
perhaps.
don't know. But then it's also like the laziness and the weirdness of 0 to 100 of if they're gonna break up, at least have them break up because like they lost a match or it's like a super high tense moment, not
Yeah,
because Max spoke a bit out of turn and oh this watch was fake the whole time and Timu. It's just like what are you doing? Like why are you setting fire to magic? I don't get it.
yeah. It just seems really random. I just because as well, MVP wasn't on this episode for whatever reason. So Shelton Benjamin was like, he's not here because something like he can't stand to look at you at the moment, MJF. I'm just like, I don't really believe that because he always, you know, he was the one who wanted Max in the syndicate in the first place. Like he backed him up all the way. So I don't believe that he could suddenly turn on him with this one thing. So maybe when MVP comes back, it'll start to make sense, and he can make sense of the thing because obviously he's the skilled promo guy.
Yeah,
So
he's the skilled mediator. And MVP knows what MJF's like, so why would he be like, "Oh,
yeah,
I'm so upset, I'm so disappointed that he wanted the world title and he's self-focused." Like, fuck me, he knows what MJF's like. He's been around him a long time. Like, why would he
yeah,
be so taken aback?
yeah. It doesn't quite add up. I feel like there's just something either maybe we're missing or they're missing that they're gonna insert into it to make it a lot more sense.
Hopefully. I also found it really sad that MJF looked really sad in this. He looked
Yeah.
genuinely hurt.
Yeah, bless him. I mean,
Imagine
yeah,
how
but
embarrassing that is for him. Of his team, if
yeah,
that watch is from Timu, that's so humiliating.
but how weird is it though? I mean, you feel dead
Timu
sorry for him
works.
in this segment, and then he's been a horrible. I nearly said the C word then to Mark Briscoe, like just 5 minutes later. What is this whiplash? Like, feel sorry for him, then he's been a prick. How am I meant to feel about him? Or is that the point?
That's the point. You're meant to be conflicted. You're meant to, you're meant to feel kind of bad for him, but then he does the irredeemable, and you're like, oh, that's the tragedy of MJF is that you want to root for him,
Yeah.
but he makes it hard. You can't help someone that doesn't want to help themselves. But also at the end of this segment, maybe the reason why he was even more horrible to Matt Briscoe later is because, yes, he was so sad. The rejection, because that's like, I think, the worst thing for MJF and his character for psychoanalyzing him. But then he's kind of alchemized that sadness into like almost an even bigger chip on his shoulder. Well, like, now I'm gonna double, triple down on getting the triple B and being an asshole to Matt Briscoe, because it's like bully mentality, in it, of I'm being picked on, so I'll go pick on someone smaller than me, like Matt Briscoe. So yeah, maybe that's the mentality.
That's very true. That's very true. When you think about it like that, it's deep and it's interesting. On a surface level of I'm sitting here and I want to be entertained, I'm just like, I'm a little bit confused.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm still a bit good about the Hurt Syndicate. But yeah, we'll just
Yeah,
have
me
to see
too.
what happens next week. We'll definitely have more clarity. Speaking of redemption arcs and complicated characters, next up we had Tony Schiavone with Christian, which again was a case of not is all what it seems. He opened, he's like, "My name's Christian Cage, and I'm an asshole."
And
But
everybody cheered.
it, yeah, and yeah, it sort of at the start it seemed like, again with the Cope thing, the swerve of like, oh, Cope's out there. I don't know why I'm still calling him Cope, but I've just, I don't know. He goes by Adam Copeland now, but Adam Copeland
Oh, God.
came out and it seemed like he was going to save him, and then he was like, go find yourself. And then at the start of this, it seemed like Christian was going to have a come to Jesus moment, and but he didn't. He still lacked self awareness, and he still played up the heel aspect, and that was mainly coming from a place of arrogance,
Yeah.
justified arrogance, but still arrogance.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like, okay, we're doing a slow burn with this, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I did feel like the crowd really wanted to cheer him. And my instinct was, why don't you just let them cheer you? Why don't you go in that direction right now? But all in all, I didn't think this promo was very good. It was so,
Really?
yeah, I thought it was really poor. I'm not gonna lie. I thought the pacing was weird. He kept on stumbling over his words. It was way too long, way too convoluted. I don't know what he was even trying to say at some points. For one split second, I came. Awkward pause. And then resumes the sentence. And that was really weird. Talking about Mother Wayne's gaping hole for some reason. Very strange. Very, very strange to me.
It was strange, but I liked it. I found it quite charming, and I found it quite realistic. Like, yeah, Christian, he's not gonna overnight, like, especially if Adam Copeland had come in and like really met him with empathy in that moment and lifted him up and been like, come on, like, I'm gonna look after you, like, let's go find you together, like, we're brothers. I think we'd have a different promo, and I think, yeah, you would have full face Christian, but he didn't have that, and he's all alone, so yeah, he's going to be acting quite defensive. Yeah, the promo could have been more concise. Yeah, it could have been a lot shorter. Yeah, it was awkward, but I kind of liked that they weren't going through like almost that amnesia of, oh, suddenly I'm a good
Yeah,
person, like
true.
I've
True.
I'm going to forget everything that's happened. And I think it's really interesting as well, because then it makes Nick Wayne really interesting, because if you don't know whether to cheer or boo Christian, then you don't know whether to cheer or boo Nick Wayne. I think that's to Nick Wayne's advantage, because it's almost like he's building the connection with the crowd as he goes, and I feel like that'll be beneficial. And I feel like, hopefully, yes, the crowd really want to cheer for him, but hopefully if they can just play the Copeland stuff right, maybe like it will be that huge emotional moment. And if this is going to be a retirement angle, which I feel like that's always kind of been on the cards, the theory is like Christian or Copeland want to go out either together or separately, I feel like this is definitely going to be a slowing down of their careers, having that huge emotional moment of them like riding to the sunset together, even if it's like not the closing chapter, but part of the closing chapters is good. And like, yeah, you don't really have to rush that, but I do
Yeah.
get what you're saying at the same time.
No, I think you're absolutely right. Everything that you just said is, you brought me around to that idea. Um, I guess on the surface of this as a segment, I didn't, to be honest, I just thought the promo was bad, and I think that's the long and short of it. I just didn't like the promo, but I think that you're right in that it can be. I like what you said about if you're not sure whether you should boo or cheer Christian, then it's the same with Nick Wayne too, and that gives him a bit more depth. I do think that's good, and it gives him more intrigue as sort of, he's the breakout star in all of this, so he needs to come out of this one with as much, um, like character as possible, and just to come out looking really strong to set him up properly. So yeah, I do agree with what you said.
Yeah, and just to close out this segment, as Christian walked up the ramp, he came face to face with Shayna. They had a little spat, and then Nick Wayne and Kip came from behind with the title belt, laid him out. Um, yeah, and then I found it really interesting because commentary called the attack on Christian disgusting. So that was
Yeah.
like, okay, so even though Christian's been like obviously acting quite heelish in that promo, then I got whiplash from that because then I'm like, well, commentary telling me like, oh, it's just disgusting, it's just unjustified. After Christian has just said like all this horrible stuff about like all three of them.
Yeah, right.
So it was like that gave me like whiplash. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we had FTR and Stoke backstage. They've got heat with the Hurt Syndicate after last week, and Cope. The Bucks are all smiles. FTR also look to make amends. It's a bit of a weird moment with Stoke and the Bucks.
Yeah, what the hell was that?
So like if the end game is Bucks and FTR, it wouldn't be that interesting given that it's not like they're like at each other's throats. Like if Nick and Matt had been all up in their faces, like, oh, you think this is over, maybe it would have re-sparked your passion for that feud because it is a great feud. But the fact that they're just like, what's up, lads? And then they're so
Right,
nonchalant
guys.
back, like, yeah, hi. And then Stoke was being Stoke. It was just like this could have been an email, like unnecessary, just weird.
Yeah.
Which is the theme of this Dynamite is just weird.
Everything's just a bit off, a bit strange. Yeah.
Yeah. Backrooms vibes.
Hmm.
Speaking of, we're finally going to get into, I think, the biggest part of the night, even though it didn't close the show out, which I think is always interesting when it's like, your
Bit
world
weird.
champion. It feels a bit weird that they're not closing the show out.
Yeah, a bit strange that it wasn't main event.
Yeah, but then I kind of like the Matt Briscoe stuff because that's kind of looking towards like the future of the title, and Hangman
Yeah,
came out at the end, so then I could kind of forgive it
true.
because I was like, okay, still centerpiece, and I guess like you don't want to position this as the centerpiece, and also like I feel like even though the match was good, a lot of viewers probably would have tuned out, if this was the last match because I don't think it was a draw particularly, but I will say, right, preconceived notions. As soon as I saw this match announced, I just had zero desire to see this. I was quite frustrated. Doesn't spark
Joy.
interest or joy. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, but it won me round a bit. I'll say the match wasn't boring, and the way I saw this match was it was cool to see the dynamic stripped back because you didn't get that in. I mean, these two have fought many, many times, and every time they have a banger match, so it's not that surprising. But in the match at All In, there was a lot of a lot of drama, a lot of run-ins and stuff, and they did still have that towards the end. They had the Death Riders coming in, Darby Allin being fucking hilarious. But I thought this was like stripped back. It was almost like the acoustic version of the All In match, is what I wrote.
I love that. Love that. That's so true. Yeah, I kind of thought the same. I don't understand. I don't fully understand why this match took place because I feel like surely the match at All In should have been the full stop. But yeah, this was like okay, what happens if it's just a straight up wrestling match and there's no interference and there is disqualifications and so we're not allowed to break the rules in theory, although that did end up happening, which was quite annoying. Yeah, and obviously it was a very different style to the All In fight. 25. I'm so sorry, I'm just yawning. It was a 25-minute long match or roughly thereabouts, but it was still it felt quicker than that, I thought, and I enjoyed it. It felt like it wasn't like obviously it wasn't a death match, but it's still violent. They did some really big spots. A lot of Moxley did a lot of pile drivers like on the steel steps and also on the outside of the ring, like very dangerous. And he did this classic thing of like biting and scratching, and there was a little bit of blood. So yeah, it worked. It was very entertaining. I did enjoy it. But I just I don't know. I just didn't. I just don't understand why it had to take place. But I'm not that mad about it.
It was enjoyable but unnecessary. I think my
Yeah.
gripes were, yeah, yes, the high risk spots were exciting, but I just found a lot of them to be very dangerous for like a new champion that just
Yeah.
not at a
Right.
pay-per-view with an opponent that we've already faced before, very high stakes. I just felt like why why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Very Derby-esque. The pile driver on the steel steps. He literally had like the top of his head bust open. I want from blading her out. That's from like the blunt force, which shows how dangerous these spots are. Like they can
Yeah.
cause open wounds. I really didn't like the kick off the ring apron where he sort of fell and he sort of stumbled. I've told you that's like one of my things. Like ankles, it makes me cringe.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I understand like you've booked yourself into a corner. You can't have a fucking Mox match and not have violence. It's
Exactly.
not, it's part of the course. So you've got to have that. And I understand, yeah, Hangman is a fighting champion. He's got to do some dangerous spots. But I just felt like there was a lot in this match, and that's a risk, and it paid off because obviously the match was very exciting and fun for it, and it wouldn't have been the same if it had just been headlocks and wrist locks. But and I wasn't surprised and I wasn't disappointed by it because I don't have any expectations
Mm-mm.
anymore. But I think the thing that I think a lot of people would have thought of when they saw this graphic is, oh, this is a vehicle to close out the Death Riders. Mox is going to be left in the ring alone. The Death Riders aren't going to help him. And yet again, the Death Riders acted like they have zero fucking autonomy, like
Yeah.
Sims with zero autonomy, washing
Hmm.
dishes in the bathroom sink, just following John Moxley blindly, no fallout, no repercussion from him not capturing the title, just yet again just digging a little bit deeper that grave of the Death Riders.
Yeah.
It beggars belief.
Yeah. Exactly. I totally agree with you. As well, like the whole thing was everyone is banned from ringside. The referee acted like he was dead on the stupidest bump ever. And I know that referees do that all the time, but this was particularly dumb. And then Marina came out. Well, Yuta and Claudio like distracted security so that Marina could throw Moxley the belt, which she used as a weapon. But it's like, what's the point of the stip? Like, not to be that person who gets, dragged down in the details of wrestling, which is fake. But why should she like be suspended or something? Because clearly that's the very
Yeah.
clear rule. Everyone is banned from ringside, but everyone can clearly see that she is at ringside. So there should be some sort of repercussions for that, but there's not, and it just feels like we're rehashing the same Death Riders thing when everyone hoped that when Hangman won the title that this was going to be in the past. I don't feel like that their story arc has progressed at all, even though Moxley's taken some huge step backs, like with obviously losing the championship, and now he's just lost again. But where are we at with it? I don't feel like there's been much development for him.
Yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, and you'd hope that you get that kind of. My hope going to the match is you're going to get that final emotional moment where he's kind of sympathetic almost. Maybe he's reaching out to the ring or to the rope. He's in like a submission hold and there's no one left to save him. Maybe the Death Riders come out, they look at him, shake their head and walk away. It could have been very subtle, didn't have to be much,
Yep.
but something like that. And that's still not final. You can still continue to build on the Death Rider stuff. That's still intrigue for next week. But yet again, they didn't do that. But again, I wasn't too hung up on it because I'm turning to apathy, which is the worst thing you can feel, is when you just learn to not care.
That's kind of
But
where I'm at with it too. And that's the worst reaction in wrestling is no reaction.
But being positive about the actual in-ring work of the match, I liked how the start was very slow. It wasn't a hot lockup. It was more technical. Hangman had a chip on his shoulder and he had something to prove, but he also had a bit of restraint, I thought. And Moxley, I feel like Moxley came into this almost wanting to lose. Like he wanted to see Hangman as a fighting champion, so the way he was fighting was a bit more different. Like, yeah, he still had the dangerous offense, but it wasn't just about murdering him. It was about wanting to see if he could go toe to toe in a more traditional wrestling match. We had the firing down of the forearms on Moxley after looking baffled. Like at the start, Hangman looked quite baffled at like Mox because, like I say, the ante wasn't switched all the way up, and it seemed like Hangman was almost anticipating that. The crowd were engaged as opposed to apathetic. That was interesting. Yeah, some of the spots were very, very fun. I really liked almost like the second rope springboard moonsault. It was like to rolling Mox into the dead eye. It was cool as fuck. It was sleek as fuck. And it's always a pleasure to see the Oriwara moonsault. Always slaps. Yeah, and then we had the interference and the hilarity of security finally doing the job and getting rid of the Death Riders. And Darby not even letting the moment breathe, not even letting the camera focus on him, just almost like a fruit bat, like he just, like a spider monkey, he just came down from the rafters. And that was that. It was like a 5-second gif.
Yeah, literally.
And they just walked off all in a day's work. It was hilarious.
Blink and you miss him.
I genuinely popped that. I genuinely laughed out loud because I was just so disillusioned with the Death Riders. And then it's like, of course you're jumping off. Like, just hilarious. Just,
it's very on
again,
brand.
AI generated Dynamite.
Yeah, yeah.
It was the buckshot. He tried for the dead eye. Mox slipped out, but he secured it. And he took the victory, and the crowd were with him every step of the way. So that's my roundup. So yeah, a lot wasn't egregious. It wasn't a terrible match. Lots to like, but also what there is to like, I don't think outweighs the bad. I think the bad still outweighs the good.
Yeah, me too.
Sorry.
Same, and I don't. We don't like being negative on this podcast. We're never negative for the sake of it. It's always constructive criticism, I believe, like, and justified. So I don't enjoy saying that I don't enjoy things, but it's just not really working for me. And it's because I like the Death Rider so much, and I really like Wheeler Yuta, for example, and I feel like there's a lot of potential with his character, and I sound like a broken record because I've seen this so many fucking times, but still nothing. So I'm just kind of at a loss with this at the moment.
Yeah. I think that's fair, and I think for other people, the way they followed the Death Riders is a lot of people haven't liked it from the start. So when something's good, their graph kind of goes up, and they're like kind of surprised, like, oh, that was good. But this is like your fucking dream. Like, you've got Mox, who you absolutely adore, and Claudio, and then you've got the soft spot for Wheeler Yuta. So you came in it with here and with high expectations, and you've just every step of the way just been slowly let down. So when something like this does happen, it's like it's a spike, but then you're still measuring it up to your downward trajectory. And I think that's why you might have a different take on it than other people on the internet that are being quite positive about it and not saying either one of those opinions is wrong, because it's not.
Yeah, exactly. Well, exactly, because it's like you say, I start up here, the higher you are, the deeper the fall. I don't know, I just feel like there's so much potential. I would love to know the conversation about the justification behind this rematch. Like, and what did Moxley and Hangman think about it? Did they push for this, or were they unsure about it? I'd be so interested to know, because I'd love to know why they're doing this the way they're doing it out. Because I'm just a bit baffled.
I'm baffled by something. Ever since Justin Roberts has been in AEW, I've never asked and I've never Googled it, and I've never known what the hell are they saying when they go the Dapper Ever Justin Roberts. That's what I hear. Like what is the tagline? Because I need answers today.
Oh
I need
my
to know what it
God.
is.
I am so glad you just said that, because I've always thought the same thing.
Every
I do
time.
not know what that word is, what they're saying. I don't have a clue.
Are they saying Dapper? Are they saying the Dapper? Is it the Dapper as ever Justin Roberts? But the way they say it is like it always melts. It's like
Dapper
Dapper
ever.
ever Justin, the Dapper ever Justin Roberts, and like every time I'm like, what are you on about?
Should I try and find out, or should we just
I thought
should
that's
this
such a
just be
niche
like a
question.
mystery for the rest of my life?
I mean, yeah, I'd love to find out. I mean, maybe it'll say on his wiki
Oh
if you
my
don't have to
God,
do age ID.
it does. Do you want to know what it is?
What?
This is crazy. This is definitely not it. Apparently, this is what it says on Wikipedia. On April 3rd, 2019, Roberts was hired by All Elite Wrestling as its main ring announcer, nicknamed the Dapper Yapper.
It's not the Dapper, yeah, the Dapper Yapper. That makes sense
That is
though.
not what he says, though, is it?
The Dapper Yapper. They does because of his American accent. The Dapper Yapper, Justin Roberts. That's hilarious.
I thought he was saying like
The Dapper Yapper.
something ever. Like,
Yeah, me too. The Dapper as ever. That's what I thought it
yeah,
was, but the Dapper Yapper.
Yapper.
That is terrible.
That's crazy. That is absolutely blowing my mind.
So like all these big feuds, like blood feuds, and he comes out and he's introduced as the Dapper Yapper. That's so true. That's so daft. That is so daft.
It sounds especially stupid with a British accent, though, doesn't it? Excalibur
Dapper
it sounds cool, but we're just like Dapper Yapper.
He is a very dapper man, though. But I think we'll tie a little bow on that and move on to the next thing.
I'm so glad we cleared that
Which-
up.
Yeah, that has been a mystery that has haunted me
is
since
the most-
2019, apparently.
Yes,
And
this
I've
is
never
the
been
most
asked to Google it.
insightful podcast you will ever listen to. You're welcome, guys. Anyway, let's move on.
They probably already knew it. It's like when I didn't know Flo Rida was called Flo Rida because he's from Florida, and
Florida.
I'd share that information with people, and they'd be like, "Yeah," it's like mind blown.
Oh,
But yeah, we had a little Kyle Fletcher, Dustin Rhodes, VP.
mhm.
Dustin's on his road to redemption. Will Kyle Fletcher cut him down? Then we had Athena and Billy Starks versus Tony Storm and who was the other person?
Alex Windsor.
Who?
Alex
Alex Windsor.
Windsor.
Yeah, that's it. Sorry, that's why, because she's obviously new to AEW, and I've just abbreviated it to AEW, and I'm like, who the fuck is AEW? I wrote, I'm loving the fresh matchups, and the women's division. I think something that I want to make note of is it's had a really great rollout because it's had a lot of new signings. You know, that way back now, Mercedes. I can't even think. Then my brain is very melted after the Dapper Yapper. Of recent note, Tekla, now Alex Windsor, but loads more, like Mina Shirakawa, so many people.
Banging.
But what is crazy and of note is it's never made the roster feel bloated like in the past. It's
So
like they'd
true.
sign two women and it would just feel like instantly trying to almost Megan Bain book of push them right to the top, and then like kind of what happened to Deanna Praza. She was pushed really hot and then pulled back, push really hot and then pull back. But I feel like they've finally gotten the hack of it of rolling these women out, finding a good storyline, finding a niche, finding a feud a bit lower down on the card, like the oh, who am I thinking of? Aminata and
Uh,
Tekla.
Tekla, yeah.
Aminata and Tekla. Yeah, that kind of more mid card
Yeah.
sort of rollout, and I think it's working amazingly because, for all intents and purposes, putting Athena back on AEW because she's a bit of program with Tony Storm, and then also Alex Windsor. It should feel a bit like, whoa, this is a lot. In the men's division, it's felt like that, like a bit bloated and where are people going, but with the women's division it's very smooth and they're doing great. They're doing a great job, the women and the booking team there, I think.
Yeah, I completely agree. I, it's just such a stacked roster, but it feels like everyone has a purpose and a place. It doesn't feel like we've got spare parts or that, like you said, people are being prematurely pushed and then left to do nothing. It feels like everyone's got direction at the moment, or at least like the main people who we're seeing on TV. And I'm just really loving all the people you mentioned. Tekla, Aminata, Julia Hart. Love everything. Sky Blue as well. And then obviously other people in this match too. It's just working out really nicely, and I think it makes me feel so positive and happy about this women's division that finally, things are going well. And yeah, this was a nice example of that. And I was thinking about what you said. Like when I was watching this, I was like, I remember complaining that there's not much room in the women's division, like not that long ago. But it feels like there is room for Alex Windsor now, and it feels like she's slotted in quite nicely.
Yeah, definitely. And this match was great fun because you got that great mix of the new matchups, but then you've got the built-in history with Athena Starks and Storm. Um, and the victory is quite surprising, I found. We had Athena and Billy Starks working very well together, showcasing the the advantage point that their team sort of has in that Athena was legal and Tony Storm didn't realise that she was disorientated, so she was able to pick up the victory, which was quite like jarring. 'Cause obviously
Yeah,
she's
she
got
pinned
the
Tony.
contract, um,
Huge.
so it's like she doesn't even need like an opportune moment. She could just do it in a match if she like outsmarted her. It's very and that's something about a credit to Tony Storm is she always feels strong, but she also always feels like she could lose the title because she's very like wily and the way she kind of wins matches is very Orange Cassidy style, like by the skin of her teeth. So it's a
Hmm.
very fun thing she's got going on because every match or every feud feels quite high stakes because I do believe she could lose, not because she's weak, but just because of like her character and the way she sort of wins matches and yeah.
That is so true. That is so true. And then I think that's a testament to her as a person that she's not afraid to look vulnerable or to, take a pin like this. Um, yeah, it does make her a more interesting champion to watch because, at any moment she could, who knows, she could end up losing. So is that contract like it's not like a Money in the Bank type thing, is it?
Yeah, it
Or is
is.
it is? Because I'm
It
just
is
like
Money in the Bank.
just makes me wonder like when's the perfect opportunity for Athena? Like was this not a perfect opportunity?
I suppose she didn't have the contract, so she would have like had to go back out of the ring, get the contract again. I don't know, maybe she's just that confident that she's just like this is just to prove a fucking point or something.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um,
But but no, I'm
but
not.
yeah,
That's not at all a gripe on this from me. I was just wondering. Um, yeah, I
London,
thought that.
baby, London, cash it in, Athena.
Yeah, oh my God, that would be amazing. Um, yeah, I think that Billy Starks and Athena are a great team, and I liked how they sort of they outclassed Tony Storm and Alex Windsor in terms of tag team wrestling, which I thought led up to the finish really well. Um, yeah, overall, I'm very into this. I'm very into the prospect of Athena, yeah, becoming champion hopefully at some point, and her picking the best possible moment to do that.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. So then we had Hangman with Renee, but MJF with his cute Sea Biscuit nickname. See, they're almost in like a bit of a love triangle at the minute. Swerve, MJF, and Hangman. I think he wants a bit of peace for the action. Uh, MJF says, "I'm not the coward. You're the coward." And he's like, "I remember when we had a real fighting champion like Swerve." But Hangman, he didn't take the
Didn't rise
bait.
to it.
He wouldn't be goaded. And maybe that's reflective of the fact that he's at peace with Swerve. He's not as reactionary with Swerve because, when he thanked him uh, on the post Dynamite when he became champion, it's almost like he's closing out that chapter to an extent. And he said he gave a great line to MJF. He said, "You can get in line, and in terms of the line, you're behind Mark Briscoe." So, whew, MJF's ego took a right kicking this episode.
Yeah, absolutely, it did. Poor lad.
Poor lad, after he's like terrorizing the entire roster. After he's caused all these situations, but poor lad.
I can fix him.
Then we had Willow with Alicia. She wants Tekla on Collision. This was just a really, really great promo. Willow's a class promo.
Oh,
Just
just love
so
her.
fun. It's not generic at all. It's not like I'm gonna beat you. It's so impassioned and so
Yeah.
from the heart, and
Yes.
all these fighting promos that they just like. Damn, I really want to watch that now. Like, there's something very timeless and very classic about her promo style as well. It's kind of like similar to Tony Storm in that it's a bit grandiose, and she's not afraid to go there. She's not afraid to kind of be a bit caricaturesque and make her character bigger than life.
Yeah, 100%.
Talk about someone I'd love to see be women's world champion one day.
Oh my god.
Willow versus Athena. Athena being world champion. Willow as the underdog.
Oh my god.
Would love that.
Just shut up and take my money. That would be amazing. I love Willow. She's my favorite. She's just a ray of sunshine. I love everything about her. I love that she's not afraid to like be goofy, and her promos are a bit like you said, like from the heart and a little bit imperfect, and just it feels very genuine.
Yeah. She does so. She just makes you happy. Like you see her on screen, you're like, oh, dopamine.
It's something sick and twisted about being a wrestling fan though, where I see someone like that and I just think I'd love to see you be a heel though, as well.
Really? I don't know.
I feel like she could pull it off. I don't think anytime soon.
That would be heartbreaking.
No, I'm not. I like soon, but sometime in the future, in her career, at least once.
Can you imagine it'd be like cry anyway instead of smile anyway? Like rain clouds instead of rainbows. In her emo era.
Evil Willow.
So now we're on to the main event, which is Ricochet versus Mark Briscoe. These two work amazingly together, great foils for one another. Ricochet all ego, Mark Briscoe obviously very stripped back, very, to the point. What you see is what you get. It's real. He was fired up and he got an immediate dominant showing, which was quite surprising. He was quite dominant from the gate. Gates of Agony came and stood on the apron. Very spooky. This led to Ricochet being able to do the tope for the advantage. Then it was quite copy-paste TV match in that. Then you had the picture-in-picture. Then Matt Briscoe was able to pick back up the momentum because the team of Brodido, which is... I didn't know I needed that in my life.
I hate the name. I love them. Don't get me wrong. No, I love both of them individually. I love them as a team. Just hate the name. Hate the name.
You hate Brodido, the name. I loved it, Brodido.
Hate.
What do you think of what is Tekla Sky Blue hat? The Toxic Triangle.
Yeah, that
something like that.
That works. Yeah, that's.
You like the Toxic Triangle, but you don't like Brodido.
I'll warm up to Toxic Triangle. Well, at least I haven't just mashed
it's too similar to like Death Triangle and.
Oh, fair enough.
The Inner Circle. Too many shape names. I'm not on board. Brodido. I'm vibing. Yeah, so Bandito and Brody King leveled the odds. That's their opponents for Collision, so setting that up. And then it was the Lariat Jay Driller for the win after a bit of a frantic ending. Like, yeah, Matt Briscoe did gain control, but Ricochet, he was like a bit more frantic. He was like, oh fuck, I've lost my lackeys. Um, Post match, Matt Briscoe calls out MJF. MJF baits him with his music. Uh, at the main event next week will be Briscoe versus MJF, and MJF comes from behind and does a low blow to Briscoe, but Hangman comes down and Matt Briscoe tries to lock in the J Driller, but MJF flees, so that's building that moment up, which is definitely. I mean, I don't know, because like MJF losing's really going to cement him as like he ain't getting back in the Hurt Syndicate, but then I don't know, because like Mark Briscoe obviously being the world title picture seems quite extreme, but then I feel like he has to beat MJF just because of all the J stuff. I'm like,
Yeah.
he needs to get that redemption, but
Yeah, agreed.
yeah.
I agreed. I think they're really playing into the fact that, oh, we realised we made Mark Briscoe a bit of a laughing stock, and this is his chance to be taken seriously. And I do think he's gonna have that world title shot. To be fair, or maybe I don't know. The Hurt Syndicate will help MJF win that match. That we won't be expecting it or something. I'm not sure where it's gonna go, but I am looking forward to the match next week. And I know I was a little critical of this feud in the beginning because MJF just went straight to invoking Jay Briscoe just off the gate, but it feels like it's developed into quite a believable and exciting feud. So, and especially with the threads of everything else that's going on with Hangman at the same time, it's multi-dimensional.
Yeah, and at the start, to your credit, you didn't know. It kind of seemed like this was just for the Casino Gauntlet. You didn't know it was going to extend beyond that.
Yeah.
But yeah, with Hangman coming down, I thought it's really poetic because it shows that now we've got, instead of Moxley's vigilanteism, we've kind of got Hangman, and he is obviously he's got beef with MJF, and they discussed that earlier. But you get the feeling that he is going to be a fighting champion. He's going to kind of restore the lawlessness of AEW. He's going to fight for what's right, and that sets a totally different tone to when the Death Riders were terrorizing everyone. So I think that's nice, and yeah, it just brought it full circle and closed it out. So I think this Dynamite, some good ideas, but yeah, on the surface, did they all come through? To their credit, they have just come out of All In. We're building to Forbidden Door, so hopefully this is just a bit of like a shaky start to get into the hot feuds for Forbidden Door. They have had a lot on their plate, but at the same time they've put a lot on the plate. They know their calendar, they know where these shows are going to be, so it's not like, oh fucking hell, we're in London in a few weeks. I mean, maybe it is backstage, but it's like, like, come on lads, like, you've known this for a while. And yeah, the AI generated comment totally took me out, and I think that's another great summary for this week's episode.
Yeah, I think that maybe we're just finding our feet, and I still have faith that it's gonna build to Forbidden Door being very good. At the moment, I've no doubt that it's gonna be excellent. That's 3 weeks away. How are we feeling about that? I'm feeling anxious but excited at the same time.
I'm not ready. I feel like with the All-Ins, but I feel like with this, I don't know. I'm not ready spiritually, emotionally, or physically, or even financially. So I need to get all sorted out. But rating wise, what are we sitting at? What's the threshold?
I don't know. To be honest, I didn't. There was a lot of this I didn't enjoy. Um, I'm trying to be fair. Feel like I'm sitting somewhere maybe around a 6-ish.
I was thinking more 7.5. I think a
Gosh.
6 is really, really, really harsh.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just found a lot of this quite difficult. But okay, if I look at it, if I take a little step back and look at
Break
it
it
as a
down.
whole, like the matches that we had, how many did we have? Like four. Yeah, four matches I think, and they were all good. Nothing absolutely outstanding, but they were all solid. And then other than that, a lot of segments, some of which missed the mark for me personally. Uh, am I dead excited for next week? Um, sort of ish. I'm not pissing myself with excitement, but
You're not pissing. You're not in a pissing yourself in a pool of your own blood of excitement. I'd say I'm more excited than I was before watching this episode, but I'm not massively climbing the walls,
mm,
like bouncing, like oh my god, I can't wait for next week's episode. Um, so I mean, I could round it down to a 7, but
okay,
I think any lower than that's a bit harsh.
okay, fine. Yeah, we'll go with a 7. I can live with that. I do think that it's it's better to err on optimism rather than skepticism, and I think perhaps I don't know. I don't know. I'm just in a bad mood. So yeah,
Hmm.
happy to go with a 7. I believe the last time we rated Dynamite, I can't remember if it was one of us doing it on our own, but that was also a 7. So pretty consistent.
We both did the Fallout Go Home show together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
All
yeah.
right. Okay. Yeah. Gosh, so it feels like ages ago now. It feels like a different lifetime, and now suddenly it's like 3 weeks to Forbidden Door.
Well, that
Crazy.
was like the All In era as well, wasn't it? So missing a week, it's like a big jump because yeah, the focus is now Forbidden Door, so it does feel
Mhm.
like a lifetime ago.
But if Forbidden Door's meant to be all about like other companies as well, though, isn't it? I feel like we've not really got anyone. We're not building up to that at the moment yet, but we've got time. We've got time. It's okay.
One, it's supposed to be Tanahashi's last UK match
Oh, I don't know.
on Forbidden Door, but that's kind of I don't know though, but AEW is just at a point where like there's nothing forbidden about it because
Yeah.
that's a strength because there is such strong ties between New Japan and uh CMLL that like there's nothing really like they've kind of monopolized the indie scene so it
Mhm.
doesn't have the same effect that it had a few years ago when you got to see like oh my god Zack Sabre Jr. oh my god LIJ and oh my god Okada and JY even all these
Pretty
years
the norm
ago.
now.
It's yeah, yeah. I
So
mean like
maybe take a different
yeah.
approach to it this year, especially with it being in England, and it's a different. You assume they maybe take a bit of a different angle on it, and yeah. But nonetheless, I'm still excited. So we'll see.
Yeah, just see how it goes.
So yeah, thank you everyone for listening. I guess we're done. We're done yapping. About
The
all the
yapper
things.
dappers. Dapper yappers.
Should we
The
rename
dapper
the
yapper.
podcast to the Dapper Yappers podcast? I'll probably get
Oh
copyright
my
stricken for that,
god.
to be fair. But yeah, if you're not already subscribed, please do subscribe and or follow if you listen on Spotify or whatever you want to do. A 5-star rating is always much appreciated. Is your kitty there?
Sorry, yeah, he just came in and he just started like meowing like I've never heard him meow like this before.
Oh, hello. Oh, this is Pablo, everyone. The star of the podcast, the
Mm.
mascot. Oh my God, he's so precious. I've never seen a cat so cuddly before. Well, Pablo says, you better subscribe, bitch.
He
Um,
does.
yeah. As always, yeah, do let us know what you thought in the comments. And thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you next week.
I must bid you adieu, goodbye.